It's a sticky relationship, you with Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden. Hello and welcome back to the Let's Talk Racing YouTube channel. What a week of racing at Punchestown. Plenty of changes in the market for the 2022 Cheltenham Festival, which is why we bring you episode 2 of, I'm not sure if it's got a name, but it's our Ante-Post Festival monthly preview, where we put up a couple of fancies and we track them throughout the year. One thing we should touch on, Monmiral, Monkfish. Cool Reevy. Unbelievable.
Exactly, especially after we'd done our whole video talking about Monmiral and Monkfish was a bit of a disappointment. Look, Monmiral just doesn't look the same horse at the moment. Something's wrong with him. I know they're going to get him checked and stuff like that. He was laying behind. And Monkfish probably just a little bit over the top after a hard enough season. And also, he made a couple of mistakes at Cheltenham and he made a similar few mistakes at Punchestown, but against a horse like Colreevy, especially getting £7, he wasn't going to get away with it. So, great performance from Colreevy and great story for her owners. She'll now be, she's I think in full to walk in the park, so you've got a few interesting young horses coming through, hopefully in the next couple of years with Colreevy. She's been a smasher for connections and it was great to see her at least go out on the top. Monmiral and Monkfish I'm sure we'll be seeing much more of in the coming seasons.
You might be wondering, why am I wearing an Ollie Murphy racing cap? Well, you can win one of these. If you didn't know, myself and a good friend Joe Tuffin run Millennium Racing Club. We set it up about a year and a half ago to try and get a few youngsters involved in racing. It's been brilliant and we've had some fantastic fun. We've had 2 horses in training at the moment. One is Under La Seigneur, who's trained by Fergal O'Brien. She's won twice this season and she's running at Antrim next Friday, which I'm very excited to be attending. And the race looks ideal and hopefully she can go close. I think she's rated 117 now, which means that she's not too far off listed level for mares, and I think she's going to go over a fence next season, so she's very exciting. And the Ollie Murphy racing cap, Churchill Flyer, our unraced 4-year-old by Policymaker, the sire of Chac and Poursoir, runs on Sunday. He makes his debut at Ludlow in the bumper there. He could run on Friday, but I think it's going to be Sunday. So very, very exciting. If you do want to get involved, Under La Seigneur is up for renew in May. If you look on my Twitter, you'll definitely see what we've got planned to announce that. It's really exciting. Churchill Fly unfortunately is sold out, so you can't get involved with him, but Under La Seigneur you can get involved at the start of May. I'll link everything down in the description if you are interested, and just drop me a message on Twitter. It's great fun. You get to go to the yard, get to go racing with me, Joe, and all the team at Team Fergal and Team Ollie Murphy as well. So very exciting. Hopefully you can get involved. A busy week for me, which I'm looking forward to. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty stuff. Let's look on our 3 bets that we put up each from last episode. Andrew, you put up Gentlemansgame 33 to 1 for the Brown Advisory. How are you feeling about that?
Probably so-so. I thought he'd win at Fairyhouse over 2.5 miles, and he ran very flat in the Grade 2 where he came 3rd. Behind Ashdale Bob. That form's taken a bit of a franking. Ashdale Bob ran very well in the Grade 1, 2.5 behind Gaillard de Menil, so that looks solid enough. And he then went on to finish second to Galopin des Champs in the 3-mile race at Punchestown. I thought he ran a cracker that day. Galopin des Champs, as I'm sure you're going to discuss in a few minutes' time, was absolutely superb. But I wouldn't be so sure the Gentlemansgame was still at the top of his game. I still think softer ground, probably over 3 miles, will probably see him to best effect. I see he's shortened into being favourite for the National Hunt Chase. Just a word of
1 for that.
Yeah, just a word of warning if you are backing him for that race. Mouse Morris just doesn't usually overface young horses that much. He didn't obviously bring this horse over to the Albert Bartlett. I would be very, very doubtful if he ran this horse in the National Hunt Chase next year. I'm a little bit doubtful he'll even go over and run in the Festival Novices Chase, but certainly not the National Hunt Chase. He's still 33 to 1, so I haven't gotten any value there or not, but he's a lovely horse and hopefully he can progress as much as I think he can over a fence. He should still be a lovely prospect.
You can definitely see why he was made favourite for the National Hunt Chase. He was staying on all the while behind Galopin des Champs. You also put up 3 Stripe Life at 33 to 1 for the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Now he's still 33 to 1, unmoved or unchanged in the market. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, look, he hasn't run since. It was a little bit of a Hail Mary pick, I will admit that. I thought he might run in the Grade 1 bumper and run well at punches, then he didn't end up getting declared. Probably with the way Denise Foster's horses ran all week, probably not the worst thing in the world. So this horse, look, he's got the ability. Whether he's going to stay at 2 miles, I'm not sure. Some people saying he needs a trip, some people saying he needs 2 miles. It'll be interesting to see. Probably we'll know our fate on that one come October, November time.
And then the final one, Monmiral, 50-1 for the Arkle, now 16-1 after a very impressive display at Aintree, beating Adagio. Do you think the last flight mistake from Adagio maybe flattered the winning distance?
It flattered the winning distance a little bit, but geez, there's some people on Twitter that need to get their heads screwed on, saying that Adagio still would have beaten Monmiral. These people are living in a fantasy land. I'd love to be there. I'd love to actually be so involved in a fantasy land that you think these things. But Adagio was holding on to nothing. I think Tom Scudamore even admitted that after the race. It wouldn't have been 7.5 lengths. It may have been 4.5 lengths, 3.5 lengths, something like that. I thought he was wickedly impressive. He just looks every inch a chaser. So it breaks my heart when Paul Nicholls starts talking about fighting fifth hurdles. And to be honest, if he keeps doing that, I'll be having to get the plane over with a placard in hand, and I'll be outside ditches saying run in the Arkle, because he looks every inch a chaser, and he's a fine prospect of a horse. Beating Adagio that well, I think is pretty good. Look, the form from that Triumph Hurdle had a bit of a odds and sods go at Punchestown. Quilixios, I don't think you could take that as his running whatsoever. Zanahir ran well, probably needs further, and Houghton Color just didn't quite see out his race. So interesting how that all will work out. But I think Monmiral's a fascinating prospect, and if you were to declare him, like if Paul Nicholls was to come out tomorrow and say they're definitely going chasing, I still think he'd actually contract from 16s into maybe 12s or 14s. I think the only reason you're still getting 16s is there's that worry. I think he's a horse of the highest quality. And you know, when I start talking about Paul Nicholls horses like that, I really do mean it. So hopefully he can go chasing and go well.
The last horse that you mentioned in the same breath was Bravemansgame, and he was disappointing in the Ballymore. So it's a sticky relationship, you with Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden. My three were Dusart, 25-1 for the Arkle. Now, he was slightly disappointing at Aintree. He definitely needed the run, but he didn't look particularly sharp for 2 miles, and maybe a step of a trip would be needed for him. I think that one might be down the drain, unfortunately. Glens of Antrim, 33-1 for the Mares Novices Hurdle. She's still a novice. Fingers crossed Willie doesn't do any wacky ideas. And she's now 25-1 with Unibet, 20-1 with the rest of them. I think she'll be targeted at that race. I think that'll be the year plan now. She is a second season novice. And then the best one of them all was Galopin des Champs, 25-1 for the Brown Advisory. Now 8-1 favourite. So impressive at Punchestown. I made him my nap of the day. He's just... I love him. I really, really love him. Oh,
I was extremely impressed, and I know you put him up for the Brown Advisory. I think that the best thing you did as well is it looks like you've picked the right race as well. I know some people that quite liked him for the Marsh. I can't see him going to the Marsh in a fit.
No.
Personally. I saw the only thing that would maybe concern you is that they were somewhat talking about the Stayers Hurdle, but surely with a horse like this, they have to go over a fence with him.
I was a bit worried until the next day when Classical Dream came out and won over 3 miles, and I thought, that's it. Galopin des Champs going over fences, and Classical Dream could be their Stayers Hurdle horse. That could impact it.
Yeah, it definitely could. Classical Dream was super. Very hard to know what to make of all of that. I couldn't have given him a chance in hell before the race. He was back from 20s into 5s and won as if he was pulling a card with him as well. Like, it was impressive and impeccable. But Willie Mullins, he doesn't really have that many Stayers Hurdle options. No. Hasn't in years gone by either. So you certainly will be hoping the Classical Dream stays hurdling rather than going over a fence, and your lad's staying over hurdles.
I think they are most likely to go over fences. He's a big, tall, strapping horse, and he looks fit for a fence. Now it's crunch time. You've got 2 for us. I've got 2 as well to put up on the May episode. We're going to look back on this in February going, what on earth were we thinking? Or going, that was an absolute masterstroke. You are a genius, Josh. Andrew, take it away, please.
Yeah, I'd say we'll more be looking at mine in February with head in hands, but I've got two more for you. One that ran at Punchestown, one that didn't. The one that ran at Punchestown, I just think it's one of those where I can't understand the price discrepancy, and I do think the price discrepancy is because of trainers. And we saw the champion bumper, we saw Kilcrush be extremely impressive, and I hold my hands up. I thought he couldn't reverse the form with Sir Gerhard. He did in no uncertain terms. But there was a certain horse that I mentioned on the video to keep an eye out for, and a horse called O'Toole of Stuart Crawford's, owned by Isaac Swade and Simon Minear. I think this is a really, really good horse. I thought he was given a ride of a horse. They weren't sure how good he was, and maybe ridden to pick up pieces. You know, if he came third, it would have been great. But the way he hit the line in second, he was beaten 3 or 4 lengths. But as a result, Kilcrush is, I think, the 4-1 favourite for the Ballymore. Something very prohibitive, definitely. And you're getting 25-1 on O'Toole. I think he'll step up in trip. He's bred to need a trip in time. The way he hit the line was really impressive. He won a bumper by 15 lengths before that on soft ground. So he's already shown he's a bit ground versatile. And I'd absolutely love Stuart Crawford to have that Grade 1 horse in his yard to potentially just build him up. As you've seen, even the likes of a Fergal O'Brien could really do with just that one Grade 1 horse, to, like the real Saturday horse. And I think O'Toole could be that horse for the Crawfords. I just can't understand. There's 21 points between Kilcrush and O'Toole in the Ballymore market. And that's simply because one's trained by Willie Mullins and one by Stuart Crawford.
One that I quite like is Champ for the Stayers Hurdle, currently priced 20-1. Now, there's no doubting that this horse has plenty of talent. He was a very impressive novice hurdle winner. He won the Grade 1 at Antrim over 3 miles, so we know that he was a good hurdler. And then when he jumped a fence, things were slightly awkward. He was quite slow in the air. He made obviously mistakes, and they thought that they might be able to rectify that last year. He only had, or this season, he only had 2 runs. One was in the Game Spirit over 2 miles when his mind was made up for him, and I think that suited him a lot. And then stepped up in the Gold Trip. He ran the Gold Cup. He ran no sort of race over the longer trip. I just don't think fences are for him. I think they will revert back to hurdles. I just think that he needs to gain his confidence back. Hopefully hurdling's where he's going to do that, and 20-1 could look massive. You'd imagine that he'd rock up in some sort of long distance hurdle, or it might be the Rendlesham, the way that Nicky Henderson runs his horses. Now carry on. Fury Road for the National Hunt Chase. He's currently 25-1. The last 2 runs have been very poor. I'm not going to hide from that. I've been very disappointed by him. I actually quite fancied him in the Stayers Hurdle. Ran no sort of race, but he was fancied. So the stable, you think there's a bit of confidence behind him. To me, he just looks very slow. I don't think he's a particularly quick horse. When Beacon Edge beat him during his Cheltenham prep, I think Beacon Edge just did him for a bit of toe, and Fury Road couldn't live with him. I think they will go chasing. I think that was a conscious decision that they made at the back end of last year when they looked this season and thought Monkfish is going chasing, Latest Exhibition's going chasing, and do they want to campaign a horse like Latest Exhibition and finish second to Monkfish all season? Probably not. So maybe hold him off for a year, run him over hurdles. I think chasing is the option. He could go to the 3 mile race, but I've got a feeling he's just not quick enough for it. And this could be right up his street. And the stable also have the Boss's Oscar. He could go for something similar. He could go for either target really. But I'm going to stick my neck out on the line. They've also got Fakir as well. And say Fury Road will go for the National Hunt Chase. They won the race with Tiger Roll, the complete same connection. So hopefully 25-1 could look a nice price about him. Have you got any comments for those two?
Yeah, no, I think they're both. They have their chances. I do like Fury Road. I wonder what's at him though at the moment. He certainly the run at Punchestown looked very bad. You know, looked like he wasn't right. The one at Cheltenham I could have excused. And Champ, it's just what Champ is up there mentally. He's got all the ability in the world, as you say. He's got the ability to win a Stayers Hurdle. There's no getting away from that. But he seems one day he's up for it, one day he's really not up for it, and you're probably taking your life in your hands there. But at 20-1, you can take those sort of chances.
Now, what's your final one?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go, it's a bit of an epiphany one here. I'm just having a vision, and it's a little bit like yourself. with Champ, and it's in the Stayers Hurdle as well. And this horse is currently 33 to 1 in the market. And you'll have heard me talk about him many a time, because he's trained by the master of Enniscorthy, that is Paul Nolan, and it is latest exhibition. And I just wonder with this horse whether they may roll the dice at going back over hurdles. You look at him this year over fences, he's been good. He's been excellent. He's finished second to Monkfish a couple of times at Leopardstown, running his heart out. He ran a gallant race in fourth in the Irish Grand National. But the problem is, he's going to be an incredibly hard horse to place over fences. He's not good enough to win a Gold Cup. We've seen that from his novice chase campaign this year. You add on the likes of Manila Indo, Aplutar, Album Photo. There's no races to run in that he's going to win, I don't believe. As for you look at the Stayers Hurdle Division, and I certainly look at the Irish Stayers Hurdle Division and go, this is a very exploitable market. As we saw with Classical Dream, anything unexposed has a chance. Flooring Porter, I know people will want to tell me how good he is. I just can't buy it at all. I thought it was a rubbish Stayers Hurdle this year, if I'm being brutally honest. Sarda Burley is, you know, he's won a few handicaps. He's probably a grade 2 horse. Paisley Park's probably past his best. Lisnagar Oscar fell. It wasn't a great race. The fact that Time Hill and Roxana pulled well clear of a fair few of them at Aintree would indicate that. But you have to remember, going back to the Albert Bartlett, the latest exhibition did finish in front of Time Hill. And I just wonder, there's such an opportunity for a horse of his ability to have a really successful potential grade 1 winning campaign over hurdles, rather than again just knocking on the door in big open chases and realistically not winning them. I think it would be a prudent move if they were to decide it. The only reason I've come to this conclusion is I saw an article where they were humming and hawing whether to run this horse in the French Champion Hurdle over 3 miles. And if they're thinking of the French Champion Hurdle, I don't know whether they'll run in it or not. Maybe they won't. They might put the horse away. But if they're thinking about that, it's obviously in their minds that potentially a hurdling campaign may await. And if it is the case, like again, in one of those ones, if Paul Nolan was to come out tomorrow and say we're definitely going back hurdling next year, not a open hell you're getting 33 to 1. It is a punt. He could well stay chasing. I don't know anything. You know, I don't have any inside scoop. I wish I did. But latest exhibition at 33 to 1. I'm going to give it a go, roll the dice, and hopefully it lands on a 6 for me.
I like that one a lot as well. Envious of that one. 33 to 1 could be massive if he goes down that route. I think that he'd be slashed straight in half. At the moment, Paul Nolan did come out and say that he was going for the Stayers Hurdle. He's definitely got the class, and he, like you say, he finished in front of Time Hill, who will undoubtedly be favourite for next year's Stayers Hurdle. It might not be if Champ gives him a tough time in the long distance hurdle. Who knows? But thank you very much for watching this video. We really do hope you enjoyed it. If you want to get involved in the cap giveaway, I'll make sure it's a fresh one, not one I've worn. Please just put down below Churchill in the comments. Every single one will be entered, and we'll be announcing the winner in the next video. Please like the video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you are new or you haven't already. I think something like 70% of the viewers aren't subscribed. That is criminal. Sort it out and become part of Let's Talk Racing. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.